I got home and I sat underneath that ceiling fan, which is directly underneath the air conditioning vent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, I know I got to be upstairs in about an hour and a half. I'll probably better set my alarm just in case, because this feels really good compared to the rest of the day. God.
Dude, that's me too, man. I laid in bed and I was like, I'm just gonna lay here. I just laid down for a second, just stretch out for a minute, you know.
Yeah.
And then I knew I wasn't getting back up, so I set my alarm, and then I fucking hit snooze like 6 times. No, then it came. It was like 5:59. I'm like, I guess I should probably get up now.
Man, it is hot out there.
Oh my god, dude, it's hot as fuck. Is it hot over there? And
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. It's wet and cold.
Really?
That's a surprise.
Dan, I'm telling you right now, like it's the weirdest thing. It's June, and normally this doesn't happen until like August, right?
Yeah.
The grass is crunchy already.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's literally crispy. And then you got these old bastards that cut their grass 3 times a week. They cut it down to the brown, man. Come on.
Man, I cut that down to the brown. That's like the quote of the day, dude.
Quote of the day. Well, how about this? Like my lawn now, you know, it's not terribly big, but I lent my lawnmower out to a buddy, and it's been like 8 or 9 days, man. I have like a little bit of growth, a little bit of grass, and then those real stupid tall weeds with the little white flower things on the top of them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they're almost up to my knees, man. I got to cut my grass, and I don't have any way to do it. Then I got like 7 messages on my answering machine, and it's like, hey, man, I'm going to bring that lawnmower over in the morning. Beep. Hey, man, I'm going to try to get that lawnmower over before work. Beep. Hey, man, I'm going to bring that lawnmower over tomorrow night. And now I'm starting to get worried. Like, I'm thinking maybe he ran over a goddamn chimney brick or something. You know, like, I don't know what he did. I'm getting scared now.
He just doesn't have time to go to Lowe's real quick and buy you a new one, so he's putting it off and shit.
God, I
Perhaps
hope
he killed his neighbor with it.
He probably lent it to somebody else and waiting for them to give it back
Fuck,
to him.
I hope not, man.
That's what always happens. Dude, I lend my shit out and they'll be like, well, dude, I let it to Jim get it. I'm like, who the fuck gave Jim? Like, well, I figured, don't figure shit, get my shit back.
Well,
like,
first off, who the fuck is Jim?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I wouldn't have let Jim get it, but he got all my shit. Go over Jim's basement, you'd be like, oh, that's where you're hiding all my shit at.
No.
Fuck.
Oh, I let Randy borrow it. Fuck.
You know? Then you look down, you see like something hanging on the wall. It's a fucking black clown costume. You're like, Jim, this motherfucker. I knew it.
Draw your sword, knock your arrows, and ready your spellbook. It's time for another episode of The Gamesmen. What role will you play?
Guys, gals, and guildies, welcome to episode 77 of The Gamesmen. This is the show for Monday, the 25th of June, 2012. I am Steve Conger, also known as JSS Lyfeliek, on basically every gaming service imaginable, and I will be assuming the role of your host. And with me for number 77 is old reliable Daniel Natman, Hardlydan.
Hey man, listen to the old.
So just reliable then.
Yeah.
Come on, you're old, aren't you?
No.
Oh, come on.
All right, 33.
All right, yeah.
Damn.
Well, okay, not as old. Okay, but you're old. Okay. But anyway, in the second chair for tonight is Mr. Yuri Liss, Xcalybr713.
I do it for the Ratchets.
God.
What's going on?
So fast forward all the way to the outtakes and then come back to this point. Oh, total time dilation in the podcast. It should be like choose your own adventure. Like you can go back there, then you can come back here.
That would be fantastic.
What's going on with you, man? You have been ODG, man, off the grid.
I've just been, playing a lot of Just the Tip, and
God.
It's summertime. Been busy, but I don't know. I'm back for tonight. See what's going on. I haven't even turned on my Xbox for like a week and a half, so I'm busy if I'm not playing games. But I try to get in there a little bit here and there, and just wanted to get on tonight and talk about some shit.
Since your big old Max Payne 3 review.
Yeah. Since then,
pretty much.
I kind of missed that game. It was good.
Did you have you captured anything else lately or no?
A little bit of Ghost Recon footage, but I was having some issues with it, and I just haven't turned it back on.
Yeah.
I need to record some online multiplayer footage because I've been having some crazy multiplayer battles online on that game. It's fun. I like it a lot.
So, Dan, what's going on in the world of Dan?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool, actually. I had a local music festival down here the other weekend, so went over to that, smuggled some cider in.
Is that a euphemism, or what is it?
No. They had this policy. You weren't allowed to take any liquids in, not even, like, drinks for kids.
Wow.
And I got in, they didn't check my bag, and I was like, So I went out, up to a shop, big bottle of cider, straight back in again. Fantastic.
So you noticed they weren't checking sacks. So you're like, well, I'm just going to go get some cider.
Yeah, I'm just going to get myself drunk for a hell of a lot less than they're charging in here.
Well, that's an awful strict policy for having nobody to check stuff.
Yeah, well, they didn't. Yeah. The thing was, the year before last, they didn't have any ticketing, and loads of people turned up. There was hundreds of people illegal camping around the place, and there was a drugs van. You could just stroll up to this van. Just like, yeah, I'd like some meth and some. You can get what you wanted.
Holy shit!
And there were quite a few complaints about that, and the police said they weren't going to have another festival at all, but they've managed to do it with this. So it's kind of part of the policy. So yeah, if they don't get it next year because someone brought some alcohol in, that was me. Sorry.
Dan ruined it for everybody.
There were other people there. I didn't get that drunk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And finally got in the sea. So that was cool. Managed to go surfing. I've been playing some video games. Oh, and I finally got my email from RS Online. I can order my Raspberry Pi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just don't have the money to order it. So.
Oh God, we're talking about. I'm trying to get some guys together for the Zelda Symphony of the Goddess next month. They're actually coming to Pittsburgh, so it's not too bad. $51 after the discount, $60 tickets, and the promo code is wait for it, Zelda. That's the promo code, right? Oh man, but we're trying to do that. I'm on vacation this week. How about that? And
again,
not from work. Actually, my wife is house and dog sitting for her brother, so she's staying out there for a week. So I'm kind of batching it and kicking it and just laying my nuts out for a week, just kind of cooling out. And I had this big intention of, man, this whole week I'm gonna live on nothing but 5-hour energy and video games, right? That shit ain't happened yet. No, I mean, it doesn't help when I assumed that I was at the end of Xenoblade 3-4 times already. And it just keeps going on.
Is it really that long?
It's long, man. Yeah.
That's why I don't play it.
Yeah, it's long. I think, I'm trying to think of what I clocked in at last. I'm right around 76 hours, I want to say. Something like that. But I've spent a lot of time leveling and stuff. I found some good places. I captured a lot of footage of, places that you can make loops and stuff.
Yeah.
To do high level sort of enemy encounters, because there are little pockets in each one of the maps, and it seems like they progressively get higher, so you can kind of travel along the original intended path and hit these little pockets. And it's pretty sweet. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I'll tell you what, man. I know I've talked this game up a lot, but the best RPG this generation, maybe the best RPG ever.
Jeez.
What?
I know. I'm telling you.
Nah.
I know it sounds weird, but I'm telling you, the game sort of has it all. I mean, the only things that I would want out of it any more than I get is more individually different armor pieces and stuff like that. There's a lot, but some of them are palette swaps and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't wait to see what Monolith Soft is going to do on the Wii U. Hopefully they'll do something. Of course, maybe we may never find out about it the way Nintendo is, but yeah, so I got this week off, and I kind of wanted to get Diablo finished too, but I don't know if that's going to happen I don't know. It's been a rather odd week, especially in the 90s. I get home and I really don't feel like doing too much of anything. That's about it for me. But I did, over the past weekend, I shit-socked Game of Thrones, both seasons.
Nice.
Okay?
If you say anything bad about that shit, I'm hanging up now.
Okay, no, just listen to me, okay? I'm into it now, but I still stand by my original sort of feeling about it. Is like the first 3 episodes are horrible.
You're crazy.
I did not like them at all.
The first episode was amazing.
Okay, well let me just say this. Maybe it could be the fact of they sort of assume that you already know the landscape and like the political landscape of the whole thing. It's almost like information overload for like the first 3 episodes.
It's like the first movie of Lord of the Rings. They're just naming off all these people who sound the same and telling you what's going on. You just have to wade through it and wait until it makes sense.
Well, see, and that's the thing. But I think that they sort of had a different sort of time schedule and flow to it that made it a little easier to understand. You know, like they introduced characters, they just sort of drip fed them to you in those movies, whereas. Like, all these characters right up front, and I'm like, oh my god, who are these people?
No. See, that's how I felt when I watched Lord of the Rings. I watched it again. They do not drip feed shit. They hit you in the first 20 minutes with like 20 different names. Saruman and whatever the fuck, all those S's and R's. I'm like, they all sound the same. But in Game of Thrones, at least everybody looks completely different. And there's
You're going to love The Hobbit, man. All those dwarves sound the same. There's like 13 or 12 of the pockets, and they all sound the same.
I mean, I love Lord of the Rings. Don't get me wrong. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's just the first time I watched it, I felt like he feels when he watched the first couple episodes of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like the first episode I really didn't like. Like, I went back and watched it again, and I still didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, like, coming toward the end of the second season and stuff, man, I was so into it. Like, the second to last episode where the shit's really going down, and I'm like, man, this is great.
Yeah, see what happened in the second season. I thought more was going to go on. I just thought it was going to progress the story more than it did, and they spent a little more time in the area they did for that second season.
Yeah.
But now that they've done that and fleshed a lot of those backup characters out, like I'm so ready for the third season.
Yeah.
I'm like super excited for that.
Well, I was
amazing.
I was angry. Like I had this just this completely like mainlined into my vein for a whole weekend, you know, and man, then I was ready for more, and it's just like, man, it's not coming now. So,
but all in all, you're pleased with it.
I'm digging it. I'm digging the back and forth. It's not just a 2-way back and forth. It's like a 4-way back and forth between between all the different houses and stuff like that. And I think it's politically interesting. And man, they're not afraid to you know,
show the tit.
No, I mean, no, we know they ain't afraid to do that. I'm just saying they're not afraid to make character changes and stuff like that.
No, people just disappear, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yep.
That's why I like it, because a lot of the secondary characters, you look as secondary characters, and all of a sudden they're in the forefront, and you're like, wow, like I didn't know they could even act good enough to take this role over.
Yeah.
And so it's constantly evolving, never get old. I like that too, because then you don't get stuck like, oh, hey man, that motherfucker's never going to die because he's the main dude and they'll never kill him. It's like, hey, anybody's up for grabs.
Yeah. And the other thing is like someone that you think is like, man, okay, that he's the protagonist right now. He's the what? Wait a minute. What?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all of a sudden he's not a factor, and it's weird, you know, but pretty good. And you know who has really like come to the forefront in my mind is that Peter Dinklage, the dwarf. I mean, I don't even know.
He's my favorite person in the entire show.
I don't know. Is that politically correct? I don't know.
The midget?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going midget all day.
All right. Okay. But
I grew up. That's what we called him. That's what I still call him.
I'll tell you what, that guy is good, and I really learned to like him in that second season. I thought he was super, super likable, even though he was slightly treacherous. But
what do they call him? They call him a dwarf in the show.
Yeah, they call him half man and all kind of stuff, you know. Yeah, so who knows?
Let's go with midgets, man.
I'm digging it. And then, just as a short little small aside, I started watching Beast Wars on Netflix. They just added Beast Wars.
Did they add it already?
Yep.
Oh, I've been waiting for my favorite show ever.
Beast Wars was, now that you go back and watch it, it was kind of terrible.
What?
Well, I mean, just it was only because of the limitations of the time. Like, and maybe I'm ahead of myself or something. But even back then, people used to make fun of me because I'm like, they don't cast any shadows. They have no shadows.
See, never crossed my mind.
Hating.
Yeah.
No, I love Transformers. I even bought, did you ever see Beast Machines, the one that was on after that?
Yes.
I love that. Now they were casting shadows and everything in there. I was digging that.
They were casting shadows left and right.
They were casting shadows all over the place. Dan, what is the media that is in your platform of choice at this point in time? Anything? I have no idea what you're playing. This is like the first time in a long time that I have no idea what you're playing.
I've been playing a load on my phone, actually.
What?
Yeah. Since I got the ICS upgrade, there's a load of games that I previously couldn't play that I can now. And Galaxy on Fire 2 HD is fantastic.
What's that?
It's kind of like, do you remember the old game Frontier on the old Amiga 500 and Atari ST, the wireframe space trading thing? It's like that, but obviously not wireframe, and it's cool, flying around, doing missions, shooting down bad guys. It's fun, but it eats my battery. I was playing it the other day, and I was plugged into my PC, charging off the USB, and it just went black, and the phone completely froze, and I was like, oh shit, what's wrong? Left it for a bit, the red light's just blinking at me, and it discharged it so much that it just turned the phone off and wouldn't let me power it on for another half an hour.
Wow. What's up with that?
Yeah, that was a bit strange. And Max Payne, I've been playing that on my phone. The first one. That's pretty cool, but the controls are diabolical.
I was going to say, that can't play. It didn't play good with a controller.
Yeah, there's a bit in the tutorial, because I thought I'd go through the tutorial just to get used to the controls. And there's a bit where you've got to jump on a box and then onto this fan and then over the wall. That's just nearly impossible. Running and jumping in that game is just a nightmare when you've got a 7-inch screen in your hand. But it looks good. It plays well. Apart from changing weapons, for some reason, can't figure that out. It let me do it once, and since then, nah.
Are the touchscreen controls kind of shitty?
Yeah, well, they're not too bad. Just for like walking around and playing the game. But as soon as you do anything that involves jumping, or any degree of accuracy where you're walking, you're screwed.
I know. I still mess around with Dead Space a little bit on my Razer Max, and that screen gets hot. I'm just like, wow, okay, like touchscreen's cool and everything, but to constantly like have your finger on it and pressing it, and it's I don't know. I think if you have a phone that has any kind of balls to it at all, your screen's going to be smoking hot.
Yeah, actually, it's my battery that gets incredibly hot whenever I do anything intensive. Yeah,
I think that's because it's getting sucked all out. There's energy moving all through that thing.
Yeah.
My God.
Other than that, a bit of Trials. That's been fun. Trials Evolution. A friend of mine came down the other night and we had a go on that. He couldn't do Gigatrack to save his life.
Most people can't, man.
Yeah, if anybody want to try beating my time, add me on Xbox Live and see if you can beat it. Gigatrack, 7 minutes 37, I think. No fault.
Jesus. Come on, man.
This is crazy, dude. How many tries did it take?
So long. Oh, God, I didn't try. I didn't even count.
Does it count? I can't remember if this one counts like the last one did.
I don't know if it does, but I've had goes afterwards as well. So, yeah, no one's going to beat that time.
If they do, it won't be me.
Yeah. And, a bit of Minecraft earlier with DJ Leroy and the Mighty Dave.
Minecraft That's been about on PC or on Xbox?
PC. Actually, my Xbox Live sub has passed.
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was still debating whether or not I'm actually ever going to go back to gold.
Time to save that $30 and put it toward a PlayStation 3, Dan.
Yeah, I might be getting one soon. There's a guy locally who's got 3, and he wants to get rid of 2 of them.
All you got to do is take them apart every month, man. That's it.
Yeah.
It's actually one. I talked to Jeremy the other day, and I wanted to check up. How's my old PlayStation 3, man? How's it doing? And he said there is no fucking way that thing should ever work when you put it back together. He said, but it works every time. I don't understand it.
I don't get it either, dude.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. But I just saw him on there a little bit ago playing Uncharted 3. So he actually renewed his PlayStation Plus with all those free games. He was going to end up buying like Little Big Planet 2, and that would have been what is it? Is it 60 still, or is it 40 now? Or
I think it's 40.
Hell, $10 more. He got Infamous 2, and some maybe even Space Marine and stuff like that. So
I showed that to my friend that came over the other day. I was going to let him borrow Infamous 2, and then I was like, "Hey, do you have PlayStation Plus?" He's like, "Yeah," but he didn't check the marketplace at all. So I went into the store and showed him. He's like, "Well, just keep your game, dude." He's like, "I got tons of space on here." He just went home and downloaded all. There's like 6 games, I think.
Yeah, I think yeah. I can't remember how many there are, but
I mean, because it has the Virtual Fighter, Little Big Planet, Space Marine, Infamous 1 and 2, I think.
I don't know if Infamous 1 was there. I thought it was just 2.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
Whatever, but I mean, there's a lot.
But anyway,
on there.
yeah. I mean, I was even thinking about downloading Space Marine and just playing around with it, maybe.
Wait, why not?
Yeah, for free.
It's a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is it? Just one game for free would have been a deal.
Yeah. It kind of puts Microsoft to shame, really, doesn't it?
It does.
They've really turned PlayStation Plus into something. I mean, compared to what it was before, it was kind of a joke, and it really only benefited heavy digital users, and mostly smaller experiences and things like that. But now with full games on there that are actually pretty damn good, it's really not a bad value proposition. I mean, I've seen on N4G and okay, let's just say that, yeah, that's N4G. I get that. But there's a lot of articles going up, that PlayStation Plus making me rethink my Xbox Live subscription and stuff like that. I mean, at least they're kind of getting a little bit of penetration with doing something like that. If
PlayStation had the inter-game connectivity and the voice chat, it would already, I mean, that's the only thing they're really missing.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I was going to buy that Virtual Fighter Showdown for the Xbox. Mm-hmm. $15. I downloaded the demo. For some reason, it wouldn't work. So I went to the PlayStation, and I like the PlayStation Virtual Fighter much better anyway. It just works better on that system for some reason.
Yeah.
And there it is, $15. I had money in my wallet. I renewed my PlayStation Plus. They give it to me for free.
I know.
Free game. I'm like, free? And it works better? It's a better version, and it's free. I was like, I paid $2 for my PlayStation Plus membership because I was going to get it anyway.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if it's $15 for like 3 months or whatever, you'd be better off doing that.
Well, and that my other friend, he said he was like, he didn't know if his PlayStation Plus was up or not. He's like, but even if I just renew it for 3 months, I'll beat all these games in a month or so, and then
what's it matter?
Like, what's the, you know what I mean? It's like free. It's nice. It's really nice. I hope Microsoft learns something, but I don't know if they will.
I don't know if they're too concerned about that, but anyway,
they don't really need it.
Yeah,
that's why.
Dan, anything else or no?
No, that's been pretty much it. Actually, I've been kind of busy outside. Enjoying the rain.
Is it? What? Really?
Well, yeah, not enjoying the rain, but it's been raining. I guess I can mention it now. It's come out of the closed beta. It's soon to be an open beta. I've been playing Codemasters Formula 1 online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice game. It's not what you'd expect from Codemasters as a driving game. You have a top-down view of the track, and you use your mouse to steer and accelerate. And you kind of like, if you imagine pulling a car along with a string, that's kind of how it works. Only, it's a bit more complicated than that, obviously.
So, okay, wait, back up. Platform.
PC. It's going to be a free-to-play PC game with quite a good structure for in-game purchases.
Okay.
You don't. It's not going to be play to win. There are things like liveries you can only get with Codemaster points or whatever they're going to call them. Yeah, you start off with your own race team and you have to build buildings to research parts, and it's kind of like Farmville in that way.
Okay, all right.
The grind is racing, so that makes it so much better.
So let me ask you this. Is it sort of like an Ivan Iron Man Stewart's like off-road or an RC Pro-Am or something like that? Is that kind of what it is? Yeah,
kind of, but it's got all the physics in there. And, you change the wing, it affects how the car handles. It's officially licensed by Formula 1. If you want to, you can go onto the F1 side of it, the proper side, and race all the proper F1 cars and all the tracks. And it does feel really good when you get a chicane just right, and it's great fun. But I don't know.
But
how long
what's the but?
The but is, if you don't spend any money, it can take a hell of a long time for like buildings to be built and parts to be researched and made. Some things are like that. I built something, it took 48 hours for me to actually get it, which is a bit of a pain.
Man, wow.
That's real time, not game time, though.
Okay.
So you can just leave it for a couple of days and come back, and there it is.
Yeah, and people are getting conditioned to that on Facebook anyway, so.
Yeah. But no, it's just a fun F1 game.
Is this, can people believe this F1 recommendation, certain parties? And they,
It's definitely more of a casual game rather than a sim.
He lost me at PC top-down, pull like a string. I'm done. There's nothing else you had to keep saying.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
I was like, PC, mouse, top down. What the?
You what?
I was like, pull with the string. I don't understand what that even means. I was like, I'm out.
Well, it's kind of gives to give you an idea of how it works, but it's worth checking out when it comes into open beta in the next few weeks, I think.
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm still stinging from that last game I look at every day.
That game's fun. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. We're just gonna leave that one alone.
Hey, so Dan, you sound pretty good. How are the headphones holding up? Are you still liking them or what?
Oh, they're still fantastic. They're still as comfortable as the first day they went on my head.
Sweet.
What kind you get?
I got the Logitech G930 7.1 wireless.
Yuri, you just bought some, didn't you?
Yeah, I just got the Astro A30s, the wireless ones as well.
Okay, so explain to me where does the A30 sit on Astro's sort of scale?
Astro only has two headsets. One's an A40 and one's an A30. The A40 is the MLG branded licensed headset. It goes over your ear. It's the best one they have. It's like $50 more than the A30s. I was going to get that one, but it seemed kind of big and bulky, which I don't mind for home playing, but I kind of wanted to use it, with my PSP, my DS, my phone, different things. And I read a bunch of reviews, and they said the A30s were a little more comfortable, a little lighter, not as heavy on the bass or the sound, but the A40s are supposed to bleed a little more too, which I didn't really matter either because I'm using them at home for the most part. I just decided to go with the 30s, save a little bit of money because the wireless version was kind of expensive. I was like overall it was like $250, I think, for the whole package. $15 to ship it, so it was like $265, and to get the A40s would have been like $320, $330. I just didn't want to come out of my pocket the extra money. So my neighbor came over the other day. I live in an apartment building, and my neighbor came over like the week after I got him. I was like, "Yo, are you okay?" I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I haven't heard any noise in there for like a week, man." He's like, "I just want to make sure you were alive." I was like, "Oh, dude," I was like, "I don't turn my surround sound on anymore. I play with my headphones all day. Like I watch movies with them on. I play with them on. Like middle of the day, I have them on." What's cool is it came with this little device, right? The headphones are amazing as they are. I mean, they're fantastic headphones. They work great. They have a little boom on them so you can talk through them. I'm not using that boom right now. I'm using my microphone. But the boom works fantastic for online play for my Xbox 360. I used it for both systems. But for the Xbox, I was having a lot of issues with all of my headsets, wireless, wired. All of them had static. They'd cut out. I use this one. Doesn't cut out at all whatsoever. I can hear everything through both ears, so I can hear everybody talking. But it comes with this little thing called a mix amp 5.8. And what it is you plug your headset into it. So the headset's supposedly wireless. There's a little dongle that sits next to the TV that you turn on. And then the headset you have has a wire that comes out of it, and it plugs right into this little thing in your hand. It's almost like a little remote control like you would have for like a head unit in your car or something, So it's wireless if you hold that little thing in your hand and walk around. But the cool thing is it has a little knob on it in the middle. And it says game on the left and voice on the right. And it also has a bass boost button, which I hardly ever use because the bass is loud enough. So what it is say I'm talking on Xbox Live, I'm playing Ghost Recon with my friends. I have it all the way set to voice. Well, I was playing co-op the other day, and how the cutscenes come on, you want to hear what's going on. So you can turn the little knob in the middle up and put in just as much game sound as you want. So you're never overpowered by the game sound or overpowered by somebody's voice. You can hear just as much voice and just as much game music as you like.
Yeah,
if you don't want to hear any of the game, like if I'm a multiplayer and I don't give a shit about the game music, I'll turn it all the way off and just talk to my friend. You know what I mean? And if I'm playing a game by myself and I'm not talking to anybody, I turn it all the way up to game, and you fully hear the game coming through both sides. And if you're just listening to the game, you can also turn that knob down, and it kind of turns down like how loud or like how like saturated the game sound is.
Yeah.
So, and you still have a volume knob up top. You know what I mean? Changes the way everything sounds completely. I had no idea that I even cared about something like that until I got it. And it's amazing. I love these headphones. I do kind of wish sometimes that I would have got the A40s because I just want to hear if these sound this good. I'm like, how much better do the A40 sound? Because I think these are only 30. What is it? Millimeter, nanometer? I forget how they do it. Size speakers.
Millimeter, yeah.
And then the other ones are 40.
Okay.
And all of them are 40 that I looked at. Like all the Tritons, everything's 40. So these are only 30, but I looked up all the reviews online, and every review I could find said that these were the best gaming headsets you could buy. So, I mean, I looked them up for a couple of days, had the 40s in my cart, took them out, bought the 30s, and I wear them daily, all day long, and I love them. I have really little ears, though, so like they kind of actually do cup my ears, where some people, they would probably just sit right on their ear. So I think that's really the only big difference is, do you want them to cover your ear, or do you want them to sit on your ear?
Yeah.
But they're really nice. They're cool. They have these little things on the side. You can like little magnetic squares you can pop off. They're called speaker tags. And you can actually buy different ones, or you can go online and create your own. So I was going to go online and make some Gamesmen speaker tags so I can put them on there to advertise when I wear them around town. And be like, oh, what are those? Oh, these are my Gamesmen headsets. You know, like check the website. So they're actually really neat, man. I'm because I was nervous. I'm like, man, $300 on headphones. What am I doing? And then I got them. I'm like, wow, these are. I mean, my neighbors probably love it because at night I'm not sitting there playing my speakers all loud and just listening to my music through my headphones. Never crackles, nothing goes wrong. I turn it up loud, and I mean, it's weird too because I can really hear it behind me. Like it sounds like really full surround sound. I couldn't recommend them enough if you're looking for a good pair of gaming headphones and you feel like coming out of your pocket like that.
Well, I mean, they are full like pseudo surround, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're just 7.1 surround.
Okay.
They're not the only speakers that I found online that had actual surrounds, like different speakers in them, was a set from Triton. I think it's the AX Pro. But I just didn't. I want the Triton speakers I have now, the headphones I have now. When you plug them into your Xbox, it plugs in where the AV cable used to plug in.
Yes. Yeah.
So anytime you plug it in or take it out, it turns the system off. So if I'm sitting there playing a game and I'm in the middle of the game and I'm like, oh, I want to go plug these in. I plug it in. Bow, system turns itself off, back on, which kind of sucks. I hate that. I couldn't stand it. You can't just plug it in and out. You got to know where you're at a save point, stop it, and turn your system off. Where these ones, they just plug right into the thing. Like I turn on a little dongle by the TV and I plug it into the thing and it's just on. I don't have to plug anything in and out of my Xbox ever.
Yeah.
So it works a lot better for me. Plus, it's just nice. It's real nice. It comes with all the cables you need. There's some extra cables you need for chat on the PS3. And I guess it didn't used to come with those, but now it does. It has optical cables in it. It has every cable you need. It even has extra cables.
Wow. So
there's nothing extra that I had to buy for it whatsoever, except for it does not come with a rechargeable battery pack for that mix amp. And so I spent $20 extra for the rechargeable battery pack for the mix amp. And I plug it in and it lasts. I haven't had it die on me yet. I used it for the whole week. Probably when I first got it, probably at least 5 hours a day. So I put 30 to 40 hours on it, and it never died. So I mean, you can go at least a week without having to charge it. So
well, see, I'd love that little dial on that mix amp too, because like it beats like trying to play something on the 360, and then a cutscene happens, and then I just yank my headset out from the controller, so I don't have to hear people's shit while I'm trying to watch a cutscene. You know?
Exactly. That's the thing. And I can just turn the cutscene all the way up and turn your voice off, so I don't have to listen to you at all. Be like, oh, hold on, there's a cutscene, and I listen to it. Or just turn it up a little bit louder than it is. And what's cool is you can use that with any headset you have that plugs into that. So, I mean, like the headset I have, it plugs right into my phone. And if you have a headset at home, you can use any headset you want. I even took my, those PS Vita earbuds I told you I bought a while ago. I plugged those into it. Holy shit. They sound better in that thing than they've ever sounded on any. They sounded almost as good as these headphones did.
Wow.
I was like, wow. It's amazing. You can plug anything you want into it. And what else is neat, if I wanted to buy another mix amp, I could buy another mix amp and then give somebody else had another Astro headset, or they had any headset they wanted. Like say I'd had my PS3 buds or my PS Vita buds. Give them those. And that way when we're playing online together, it has two separate channels so both of us can talk.
Yeah, cool.
And no, right now you can't do that. I can't hand my friend my other headset and us both talk in the game. It only has one voice channel. So this way it combines the two channel voices so you can sit there and talk with all your friends, both of you, whoever has a headset in the room.
Oh, sweet.
So it's actually really, really cool. I like it a lot. If, I needed a new headset. I was playing late night. I wanted something good so I could actually hear. Because how you play a game at night and I got neighbors and I can't hear the voices in the games because sometimes the voices are real quiet and the gunshots are super loud. So I'm just turning my volume up and down and up and down and up and down. I'm like, this sucks, man. So I bought them and I love them, dude. I wouldn't trade them or anything. And they're really, really nice. Steve, you've been playing any Sorcery? I played a little bit that first week and really haven't gotten back to it. I saw you put your review up. I was wondering what you thought.
Yeah, I finished it. You know, it's kind of a sad story, to tell you the truth. Like, I honestly think had Sorcery released at the time of the release of the PlayStation Move, in the condition it was in, like right now, it would have sold so many more copies. I mean, actually, all the stories, and they were saying like 50,000 in the first month or first couple weeks or something like that. It's like pathetic. I always had my eye on it. It was the reason I bought my PlayStation Move, and I watched some videos of it before, it released, a couple days before it released. Man, it was charming. The interactions between Finn and Erline. Finn is the sort of bungling sorcerer's apprentice. And Erline is the cat who is sort of like his guide, but she's snarky, but she has his best interest at heart, The interactions between the characters it's unbelievable. Like, for this game, $40 MSRP, really great production value, but I mean, I guess that comes at the expense of 2 years of delays. At the beginning, I had trouble with the PlayStation Move. And it must have been the fact that I must have sort of miscalibrated it, I guess.
See, I keep wondering if I did too, because I'm having a little bit issues as well. Yeah,
like I had trouble. What they actually expect you to do is aim your camera right at you. And you want to center yourself in the camera because you're going to be sort of waving that wand, probably maybe a foot and a half to either side of you, depending on which way you're going. At first, I had trouble firing, like arcane bolts upward. Instead of throwing bolts forward, you have to sort of flick your wrist upward, so your wand is pointing upward at the end of the actual movement in order to get it to reach a higher level, like a second level or something like that, because there are enemies later on that are perched up on stones and things like that. I couldn't get it. I couldn't hit them for nothing. I couldn't hit them to save my life. I mean, it was awful. I'm like, what is this? This is crap. I've been waiting for this all this time, and now it doesn't even work right. Well, I captured the first 20 minutes of it for a tag-along and threw that up on YouTube. And then I figured, you know what? I'm going to just completely restart the game, recalibrated everything, and after that, it's pretty damn accurate. It works the way it's supposed to. So I would definitely, if I were you, I would try to recalibrate that thing.
I played once at night, sitting in a chair at like a cat-a-corner kind of angle. And then the next day I played during the day, sitting straight on in front of it. And I think what I did wrong is, how when it asks you to calibrate and it says, point your thing at the middle of the screen, point it at the top of the screen.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is sticking my hand out and pointing it at the screen. But when I play the game, my hand's not doing that. It's kind of sitting in my lap, flicking it around.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking next time I play, maybe I should just calibrate it like I do when I play, like kind of point it at the screen and point it up, but like not really in a, kind of like in the vicinity where I hold it the whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that would be better or if I should make it like clearly, like, like make it so like my movements are small in my hand, but they're big on the screen, or if I should actually move it, point at the corner of my room or point in the middle of the TV.
Yeah.
I can't tell which works better.
I think the way that I did it, normally the way I probably played 90% of the game was, I got a footstool out in front of me in front of the couch, right? So I got one leg on the footstool. Mm-hmm. My left leg is like laying the length of the couch, right?
Yeah.
And I'm leaning on the arm, and I completely calibrated it from right there.
Okay.
And it seemed to be fine. I still think it's kind of better if you sit correctly.
Yeah.
And play it that way, but it's just not comfortable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's really accurate. And as you progress on, they sort of make pretty good use of the move button, the actual move button, because it's so big, and you hold that button to change elements. So if you hold that thing and slam the remote down, it takes you into sort of an earth spell, which then it casts like a rumble beneath the earth that busts up through, like in a line toward your enemy. If you hold the thing and do like counterclockwise, I think it turns to ice, I want to say, and like clockwise is fire, and then like wind, you like sort of like you're twirling a lasso, for lack of a better sort of description. There are times where if you don't perform the thing, like I think it's almost too accurate if you don't perform it correctly. you'll end up with the wrong element selected. And it gets to the point where it's layered and you discover more things. Like, you'll lay down a line of fire. Like, if you can throw a sort of a blast of fire in front of you, but then when you get the actual fire, like the fire spell, I think it tells you that you can throw it forward. And if you, like, sort of swipe in a cross motion downward in front of you, it'll lay a line of fire. So then you can even go into your wind and make a whirlwind and throw it at them. And it, like in that E3 demo a couple years ago, it'll suck all that fire up and it goes off like toward enemies, and it'll suck enemies up in them and swirl them around and everything. Like,
see, I didn't get that far.
Oh, it's so good. And if and that was one of the things that I said in the review was, if that doesn't sound like your kind of game, then it just isn't for you. But the character progression is awesome. Like, it is all like an alchemy system. So as you're traversing all of these environments, you're opening up treasure chests, you're finding items and gold and stuff. Well, most of the time, the items you either sell for gold or they're crafting components. So you get these sort of crafting components, then you have to mix them in a cauldron. So let's say you get like fairy honey and bloodberry and grave dust. So the grave dust, you have to actually make a sprinkling motion to sprinkle it in. The fairy honey, you actually have to tip your remote and pour. And then the bloodberry, you have to put it in sort of like a grinder and crank the grinder, right? And then all that stuff goes into the cauldron. You flip your PlayStation Move remote upside down and act like you're stirring it. The screen goes back to Finn, and you have to shake the potion up in your hand and then tilt it back like you're knocking it back to drink it. Once you drink a potion like that, I thought that it was going to be like, oh God, I'm going to have to buff myself all the time. You know what I mean? But it's one and done. It's a complete permanent, like, augment system. So it'll augment Finn's attributes forever once you drink that one potion, and it shows on the actual menu that you've used that potion. You can't ever make it again.
I did like that. That was kind of neat.
It's different, and I think it's smart for the game. I think it's really, really smart.
You don't want to get into like a Witcher 2 type of thing with a game like that where you're buffing constantly.
And I was afraid that was what it was going to be, and I was like, oh God, this is going to be more tedious than it is fun. But then it got to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what this is because this is just a silhouette, but as soon as I get this, I can make this potion, and I can do this, and then I can augment. And I'll tell you what, by the time I was done, I probably only had half of the potions that are available actually used, because I think that's pretty much all you can do unless you have a ton of gold, because you have to buy a new bottle every time you make a new potion, but they give some to you in chests and stuff like that. So, overall, 5 or 6 hours. It's not really long, but for $40, I think it's really fun. I mean, some of the enemies aren't super original, and they are sort of kind of high fantasy, and the game is very linear. But for a motion game, it was kind of awesome. It's Unreal Engine 3, so you kind of know what it looks like. If you play games at all, you know what UE3 is. But man, the game's plagued with like vertical screen tearing, like crazy, like when you spin the camera. But luckily, the game, the way it plays, it doesn't really require you to spin the camera that much. You really can't. And there is a little bit of an auto aiming system. But it was a really fun game, kind of a breath of fresh air in an otherwise like fairly busy first half of the year, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of sad because the whole Wonder Book debacle in Sony's press conference, if that would have kind of been integrated, I think, into Sorcery in a way, because they seem like they're almost the same sort of idea, right? Like, one is super casual, and this one is supposed to, like, Sorcery is supposed to have the hardcore tendencies for a move controller, right? They seem like they could have complemented each other perfectly.
When I saw it, that's what I thought. I'm like, that's really neat.
Yeah.
Is that the sequel to Sorcery? And then I was like,
yeah. No,
this is really kind of kiddie, but it's implemented really well.
Yeah.
Where Sorcery was a little more hardcore, but just the implementation didn't seem as cool. I don't know. It seemed like they could have done so much more.
Well, I mean, at Sorcery's heart, it's a third-person shooter.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to boil it down, it's a third-person shooter. But could you imagine, like, Finn walking around with a little leather satchel a little bit bigger than the one he had, with a book in it, and he learns an element, and he's like, man, what was the incantation for this? And then you open up that book, and then all of a sudden, it's almost like having a little shadow box, like a little pop-up book, and you sort of manipulate the book and look around it, and, like, all the incantations and things like that are puzzles. It would have been brilliant. So, and I think it would have really helped the pacing too, because the pacing was kind of weird in Sorcery. There are places where it kind of drug and things, but there were a lot of neat little things that I didn't expect, including like a plot twist right at the very beginning of the game that I wasn't expecting. And, it was kind of neat. It sort of threw caution to the wind right from the beginning. But yeah, that's Sorcery. Pretty much. I think it's worth $40 if you already own a PlayStation Move and a navigational subcontroller. I can't imagine playing that game with like half of a DualShock 3.
That doesn't even make sense.
No.
Yeah, I actually went out and bought a Move for Sorcery, and while I enjoy the game, the Move controls to me didn't seem as polished as I'd like them to be, and I think if a lot of people went out and spent, the $100 or whatever, like the $80, like to get that game and the controllers, might be semi-disappointed.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you already own it and you're looking for something to play with it, I mean, you really have no other option.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'm glad I held on to my Move just to play this, because this was the original promise. And it looked so cool at E3 2 years ago. And then, obviously, we just never heard anything from it. And they really didn't market it either. I mean, they just kind of sent it out to die, which is sad.
Is there any reason to go back and play it again?
Other than trophies, I don't think so. The story kind of is what it is. It was a lot of fun, and actually it was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it just, from the outset, it seems like it's going to be pretty short, and, I clocked it at 4 hours, maybe I estimated, but then, like I said, it was between 5 and 6, I think. So, a lot of good fun. The only thing that kind of got on my nerves was the save system. It's an autosave, but it's only at checkpoints. So if you're like 2 inches away from a checkpoint and you quit the game, it takes you all the way back to the previous one. So, that's kind of crappy. But like I said, that's Sorcery. Kind of awesome. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I think that's exactly where it kind of falls. Good, not great.
Nice.
You did another tag along recently as well. You've been playing a bit of Guild Wars 2, haven't you?
Yeah, man. I totally dropped $60 on Guild Wars 2 just so I could get into the beta weekend. Really wanted to play it, man.
Are you enjoying that? Is it worth the $60 so far?
Well,
from what you've seen, is it going to be worth it?
Well. So, got it all installed. I actually emailed the guy at ArenaNet, one of the PR guys, and I can't remember if it was ANet or if it was NCSoft, one of the two.
Yeah.
And told them that I bought a key, and I was hoping that I could get another key so we could talk about it on the show, and I got it for Scott.
Yeah.
So, I figured, perfect. He'll be able to stream it. We'll be able to play it all weekend. It'll be kind of awesome. Well, it was until he started to play it. And he could not stay actually connected to their service for longer than 5 minutes at a time.
Oh,
that sucks.
Yeah. There were people that were having those problems. Fortunately, I wasn't one of them. But it seems like, I think what it was the people with the higher end systems. It was almost too much for the game to handle.
All right.
Me with my little Core 2 quad, I was fine. I was all good. I got on, and we actually, it was kind of fun because we were getting ready to all go out and sort of adventure around. It was Yoda and Entropicurity and Scott and Scotsman. So I was all excited. I'm like, man, this is going to be cool. We'll all be able to experience the beginning of this game together. And it was all like, okay, in my party, you disappeared.
Oh,
and it was sort of that kind of thing. So for the first sort of hour, I just sort of stood around and went around like just killing small animals and looking around and trying to get a feel for things. And by the time we got done, I had done a couple little quests here and there, and I was like, oh God, what did I do? Like it was almost like, the morning after you roll over and you're like, oh shit. It's kind of that thing. Like I went on like a drunken Steam binge or something like that,
I'm not waking you up.
Sneak up out of here.
Shit, I'm at home.
Stupid. So really wasn't feeling it, right?
Yeah.
So it went along the weekend. Had a wedding Saturday that weekend. Couldn't really play it. So Sunday I got a chance to get back on, and I had like a 2-hour stretch. I logged back on, and I'm in an instance where it's me and an NPC. And she's running around with me. We're killing bandits, and we get this medicine back to sort of heal a barkeep. And that was kind of cool. It was kind of fun. It was the regular map, but for an instance, they sort of cordon you off into, like a square.
Yeah.
So if you start to go outside of that boundary, it tells you, no, you're going to leave the instance if you go out of there. So, you have to stay inside of there. And we did that, headed back out into the open world, back into Divinity's Reach, and went into another little instance for the bar to heal this guy. And just as an aside, guess who the voice of the human sort of, the human character is? The human, noble, I guess.
Nolan North.
Yep. Yep. As soon as I got into us, I said, I sort of took my hands off of my mouse and off my keyboard. I said, really? Really?
Remember how excited you used to get when it was him? Now it's just like, damn, you again?
I know. The dude's like sand in your ass crack when you go to the beach. Son of a bitch is everywhere. Jeez. So I get through that whole thing, and then I go back out into the world, and then I said, well, let me head over to this outpost where my little origin thing in the tag-along where I fought this big thing. I said, let me go over here and check this thing out. So I get over there because I saw right where I had defeated that thing in sort of the prologue, there was a skill point thing there. I could go commune and get a free skill point. So I'm heading over to this little, outpost, and, there's a guard there and has a reputation quest with a little heart above her head. And she says, we need some help, beating back the centaurs. They kind of give you a thing. It's not like you go around killing rats and stuff to do that. I mean, I did kill rats. I'll tell you about that in a second. But, so it's really not all that different than any other MMO. But they sort of give you an option. It's usually 3 choices. Okay, you can go out and kill centaurs, or you can sort of, disable their, supply carts, or you can damage their catapults. So, went out in the field, and it was just me and a couple other people that were sort of doing the same quest. And we kind of did that and then finished that up. Got my reward, walked over and saw there are NPCs with little sort of spy glasses over their head, and they'll kind of give you an overview of the area. This guy says, yeah, they're having problems over here in the town of Beetleton. And I said, no shit, it's Beetleton, fucking Beetleton. I was all excited because now I could completely navigate and know where I'm at according to the old Guild Wars map, right? That's where it started to get its hooks in me. And then from right there, I walked up into a little structure. There was another skill point at the top, and this one was different. It was a battle with a character, and I'm fighting this thing, and it's kicking my ass. And just some other random player just comes up and sort of gets in the fray with me, kills him. And the nice thing about Guild Wars 2 is those players are not your enemy. They don't steal your kills. No one can steal your kills as far as I know. So they're always actually a co-op partner no matter what, which is really awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. And from there, I headed over to another waypoint, like a fast travel waypoint. Mm. And then to a trading post where this chick, she says, yeah, I need you to kill some rats, like I said. And, you can either kill rats or you can travel the trade route and get rid of briar patches and grave markers. So, you don't scare traders off the route, do X amount and come back here. So I sort of did that, went down the trade route a little bit, cleaned it up, come back. And as I came back and finished the quest, here all of a sudden pops up on my screen, new event nearby, because these dynamic events will just pop up and happen in the world. And it's all about escorting a soldier and the caravan, which is just like an ox with a big pack on its back, from there to the next town. We're heading down there, and there are centaurs that are spawning and coming out of the woods, coming out of nowhere, and then we have to fend them off. So there was 3 or 4 of us, separate players, actually engaged in this quest. And we get down to a bridge that's like a choke point that we had to cross. And don't you know, obviously because it's a beta, there's an invincible centaur spawned down there. And it's just standing there. It's beating everybody else up, but you can't damage it. So, all you see in the text chat channel is like, okay, who's reporting it? Who's reporting this to ArenaNet? This and that. Who's going to report the bug and all this and that? So while they were doing that, I ran in and kind of stole aggro and pulled it away from the bridge. And, that damn ox literally started to creep around him and got through and got onto the bridge, and we got across. I don't know if they ever reported it or not. I was just concerned about getting to the next town. I wanted to finish that quest. So, but we get over there and finish that. And then there's another little reputation quest there that teaches you how to use a shield, because there's blocking skills now. this guy goes around in clockwise striking people in there, and you have to hit the shield skill right at the right time to block him. And literally right there, my 2 hours kind of ended. And all the while, during all the reorchestrated music from the first game started playing, and then it started to get all nostalgic. And by the time I was done, that was kind of all I needed to know, that I know I'm going to play it. But make no mistake, this is not Guild Wars. This is an MMO.
Yeah, okay? And that's what's putting me off about it.
I know.
I thought Guild Wars was an MMO.
Well, Guild Wars was sort of like a pseudo MMO. It was basically all instance-based, with all of the towns being sort of, I don't know, like server, like rooms. This is way different, man. It's all a real, it's a real-time world. Pretty neat, though. I mean, you still zone. There's still zones and things like that. But I think the thing that's going to differentiate this is it's pretty nice. It's technically free to play, but it's not free to play to the point where you don't have to buy in at all. I think it's going to get me only because I'm not going to feel like, oh, God, I paid $15. I need to get my $15 worth. And,
Yeah.
And I think it's well worth $60. I mean, I'm typically not an MMO guy, but I am a Guild Wars guy. And, yeah. And so,
half of me is really tempted, and the other half is just saying, "You don't like MMOs, don't buy."
Well, I mean, what are your concerns? I mean, tell me why you're concerned. Like, can you get granular about it, or?
No, it's just it's not my cup. They're not really my cup of tea. I tried World of Warcraft, didn't like it. I didn't like the whole, loads of my friends were like, oh yeah, once you join up with people, it's fine. It's like, yeah, I don't want to have to join up with people just to play this game. I want to be able to play it when I feel like it, on my own if I want to. And I know you can do that with Guild Wars too, but I don't know.
Well, that's why I don't play them.
See, I think, I don't know. I mean, it seems like there is a ton of content for you to do with friends, and if you just want to follow the story, like I said, they're going to spawn in NPC helpers for you and things like that,
Yeah.
So I think that if you distill it down and that's what you want as a single-player thing, you can do that. Single-player MMO, kind of a paradoxical statement.
Yeah. Completely.
But, I don't know.
I've got Test Drive 2 for that.
Well, you remember the original Guild Wars skill bar, how it was just, X amount of skills at the bottom and one elite.
Yeah.
The way this sort of works now is it's a lot like Diablo 3, where the first skill that you have is your attack skill.
Yeah.
The second one is what you unlock. Like, every time you pick up a new weapon, it completely changes your skill bar. So, like, when I was in that bar brawl, I picked up a glass bottle to beat over somebody's head, and my skill bar changed. It changed to two little skills. One was swing, and the other one was throw. Like, I could throw it at somebody. I was using a sword and shield at first, and then I went to a greatsword, and after I had already unlocked all of the class-specific combat skills, those 4, you have 4 combat skills on the left, and you have 4 utility skills on the right, which those are all the ones that you can unlock with skill points.
Right, yeah.
And you have 1 elite skill, a skill slot that's separate from that. And then right above your original 4, there's sort of like an F1 key, which is sort of, I guess, an adrenaline skill, where you would unleash your adrenaline. It's way different, man. It's like there's 3 tiers of skills, 1 skill point to unlock any skill in the first tier, 3 in the second, and I think 6 in the third tier. So I think you're going to get to a point where you are max sort of spec, but you will not be max level.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to get to a point where levels aren't going to matter. But it's kind of neat, man. I mean, I know you played it. Did you have any questions about it or anything like specific or no?
Yeah, well, when I played it, it was last year, and I didn't get a huge amount of time with it. The combat didn't feel that intense when I played it. Have they improved that? Is the combat a lot better? Or? The
combat feels kind of chunky, a little bit. Like it feels like that. Like there's a little bit of heft to it. I wish I could have really gotten into a good group to know. I tell you what, the one thing I do miss is in Guild Wars. After you would take out like the key members of a mob, like you'd shut down the Mesmer or kill the monk or whatever, then you could just hit the C key to target the closest and hit the spacebar and attack. Like now, it seems like you have to like manually drive your character up next to the enemy and then like double click them.
Right.
Unless, I mean, believe me, all this stuff that I'm saying, it's possible that I did not find proper shortcuts to do all this stuff because my time with it was limited. But I don't know if it felt as good as the original, and I know that there are games that have done it better. But, the combat's pretty rewarding. Like an adrenaline skill with my sword and shield, I just whack, 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 whack. Obviously all lower damage. Whack, 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 yeah. So, but it was a travesty, man. I switched to a greatsword, and the first skill you unlock is 100 Blades. 100 Blades was like an elite, wasn't it? I think in the first one, something.
Jeez.
But 100 Blades was another, like, whack-a-thon with with the greatsword, It was just, man. It was probably like 10 hits, and then sort of a jump in the air and a downward thrust, It was kind of cool, though, I gotta admit.
Now, I know how, like, in JRPGs and things, you tend to like to over-level. Do you ever feel like you've over-leveled for anything you've attempted so far, or does it scale quite well with your level?
Not that I've seen. I mean, I only did, like, pretty much, like, very, very early game content stuff. But, right off the bat, I was like level 2 or something, and there was a couple of things I could kill, but if I went a little bit further, man, I got my ass handed to me.
Right.
I'm sure that it scaled pretty well, but in MMOs, I don't think it pays to overlevel. Oh,
yeah, true.
It doesn't, because then your reward is significantly less.
I still, it looks great from what I've seen. The show, the tag along, watching it, thinking, oh yeah, I remember doing that. It was great fun and stuff. But I just know what's going to happen. I'm going to be up till stupid o'clock playing with a load of Americans.
Well, that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, the presentation is gorgeous. Wow. I mean, and plus, I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm playing it on my TV. And that's, like, it's not an LED TV, but it's an edge-lit LED LCD.
Yeah.
And that whole screen in the beginning, like the login screen, is all white with that big, like, red and black too. And it's just so bright and so gorgeous and crisp, and sort of minimalistic, until you get in the game, and then, your HUD kind of comes up. But, it's neat. All of your active quests are a part of the HUD up in the corner, the right-hand corner of the screen, the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty clean, man. There's a mini-map. There's, pretty much everything that you would think that there would be. And, it is MMO. And believe me, that kind of scared me away at first. But now I'm kind of excited for it, I gotta say.
I guess we'll have to see if I end up picking it up when it comes out. Because I don't think I'm going to pre-purchase it. Seems a little point now.
If you were to, it would be just because of, the early access.
Yeah.
Like 3 days or something. So
I'd really like to try it before I think you've got guts just splashing that money out just to try it out.
Well, you know what? I kind of knew I was going to buy it anyway.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of the way that I feel with the Wii U. I know I'm going to buy it anyway, at some point. So I figured, what the hell, I'll just, take the plunge now, and it'll be already paid for, and it'll be one less thing on the release schedule that I'll be like, shit, I gotta come up with $60 for that. So we got one really lengthy email this week from Simon Kempster, also known as Kozigan.
Bloody hell, that is long.
Right. I read it twice.
Okay, here we go. He says, "Hi guys, a few things have crossed my mind recently. These are the ones that I managed to nail down on a piece of paper. Please feel free to edit and or cut for length as necessary."
I noticed you didn't cut the length.
No.
Firstly, a couple of recommendations. If you have a PS3, Journey is a great game. That game company have got better with each release. There's no sex, violence or shooting, but it's still worth playing. You may think that $15 is a lot for a game that lasts about 2 hours, but there are $60 games that only last 5. Yeah, I hate.
Yeah. Well, you know what really clouds that now? Walking Dead for $5, man.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to get that.
You know, I still need to get Journey, and I know I'm going to. I'll probably get it on a sale whenever it's like half off or something like that on PlayStation Plus. But I do want to play it.
He goes on to say, remember those things called books? So old school, I know. But I read one recently called Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. It's his first book. I knew nothing about it before I bought it and took it on holiday. I read it in a single day. It's that good. It's largely set in a virtual reality world, and there are a whole lot of references to 80s films, songs, movies, and of course, video games.
I haven't read that, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I'm adding that to my Kindle list right now. Now, on to other things. There's been a lot of talk recently about the next generation, whatever that may turn out to be. And that got me to thinking, is there a need to? Well, the biggest games of the year will be Black Ops 2, I'd bet, but the COD series is barely in SD resolution. 1040 by 608 on the 360 and 960 by 544 on the PS3.
Yeah. The
success of MP3 players shows that most people don't mind a drop in quality as long as it's not too noticeable. So where's the incentive for the major hardware companies to spend billions of dollars developing another console when the current ones seem to satisfy the majority of gamers? The Wii U isn't going to have any better resolution than 360 and PS3. There remains to be seen what its hardware is actually capable of, and the millions of original Wiis sold would seem to be a strong indicator, as it doesn't do HD at all, that gameplay is more important than graphics. What do you guys think? I think he's completely right. For me, graphics never really sell me a game. It's got to be good to play. Otherwise, it's not a game, really, is it? It's a chore.
I agree with that.
They're both huge for me.
I still think it's the visuals that draw me there in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like I put it like this. It's like a pretty chick. People are like, is what's more important, the way the girl looks or her personality? Of course the personality is more important because that's what I have to spend the time with. But if she doesn't look good, we're never going to get to her personality. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right. I can kind of dig that. I can dig it. I think what he's saying is there a need to? I think that he's asking this question now that was sort of asked probably about 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm.
You know, when everybody's saying, well, you know, the 5-year limit, it's coming up. 5 years coming up. And, you know, 5 years came and went. and now we're on to 7 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they said 10 this cycle. Remember, they said 5 last cycle.
Yeah, Sony did. Yeah.
Oh, Microsoft tried to run with it. And like, well, us too.
Yeah. But
Sony just said it stronger because Microsoft didn't want to say it.
I don't know. Okay, here comes the Steve phrase. Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Is it just me? And I know that. Yeah. Is it just me? Or as far as gameplay, why have we not seen more tablet controller functionality in the Wii U? Like, why has nobody showed us that? I mean, isn't it time right now to capitalize and build hype and you know, build all this buzz? Isn't it time for that?
That's what I would think.
Controls on tablets suck.
Well, I mean, like, for me, and you know, I'm just some stupid idiot that has a microphone in front of him, right? I have so many ideas for, like, asymmetrical gameplay for that kind of thing. Like, imagine if, let's say, like, and this is just, you know, purely just an example, if Nintendo locks down, like, something like a shift, you know, like Need for Speed Shift. You know, if they would lock down like a Shift sort of sim racer like that, can you imagine, Dan, if you're on your Wii U at your place and you're using the Wii U Controller Pro, that's, you know, just like an Xbox 360 controller, right? Basically. Yeah. And here I am on the net, on the other side of the world, with my little headset on my ear. If there's going to be a headset, we have no idea because nobody showed anything. But let's say that you're driving, and here I'm like your pit crew, and I can monitor all kind of things about your car and tell you things. And let's say there's a pileup, there's a crash at one turn on the track, and I can literally touch my touchpad and mark it. And you can see a huge pillar that sticks up in the air, so you know when you're coming up on, you know, like, that kind of stuff would be awesome. And both of us get the racing experience.
Wow.
You know, like how many ever points or whatever to add to your meter at the end.
Yeah.
Or even like flight sims, like Pilot Co-Pilot.
Yeah, well, I can see. I mean, your example of being like a co-driver I can see being incredibly dull for the co-driver.
Well, but maybe not. I mean, you're still getting your experience and everything, and it's kind of cool.
Touche.
I mean, but the thing is, like, think about it. Whenever you come into pit, then all of a sudden, this is my time to shine. Like, you're the guy in the pit, and this is when you got to perform, and this is what you train for, and all that kind of stuff.
This is what you train.
That's what you train for. That's what those guys do.
This is why you got that screen.
Like, man, I want to come over your house, and I've been training all week. Can I please be the co-driver?
Well, but I mean, you think about the guys that actually like work in real pits. That's what they do. I mean,
well, yeah,
that's their thing. I mean, and just asymmetrical things like that. And I mean, I'm sure that you could come up with ways to keep it compelling. But that's the kind of stuff that I want to see. I wanted to see Eagle Vision. Like in Assassin's Creed, like I wanted to see somebody holding their controller up and I can look sort of through my tablet at the screen, mark my target, and then go back to playing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And they're not doing it. Zombie U is the only thing that seems to be doing anything as far as that stuff goes. But I mean, Wii U's only going to be 720, so it's not even going to approach the 1080p on either of those other two systems. I don't know. I mean, that's probably my sort of 2 cents there is, I think they asked that question a few years ago, and they said, no, there isn't a need to. No.
You just told me, did you just say the Wii U's only going to be 720?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was true.
Yeah, I think it's just
going to be 720. I thought it was full 1080.
I don't think.
I'm pretty sure. They said it's going to be stronger than the Xbox 360.
I mean, it could be 1080 on video and stuff, but I think the games are gonna be 720.
Wow. What kind of mistake is that?
Well, I mean, I think that's probably about normal, unless there's going to be some kind of hardware up conversion. I don't know. That's the funny thing. Nobody knows. That's the thing.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, and I have no idea what the price is going to be. But like he was talking about Journey earlier, there is Journey, Flow, and Flower. All three of those games from the PSN store are going to come out on one Blu-ray disc.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
You can purchase in the store. I'm hoping it's not $60. I'm assuming it might be like $30.
Yeah,
that would probably be really cool. Get them each for $10 a piece. Or if they want to just throw them off the shelves, it'd be nice to get 20. But I don't. That's kind of asking a little much.
Yeah, especially when Journey
just came
still
out.
$15.
Yeah, and it sells like crazy. So
and they got to pay to ship it to the store.
Yep. I mean, how nice would that be though? Like I'd love to have all three of those on a disc.
Yeah.
Because games like those are the ones that you'll want later on that are going to be worth money. Like 20, 30 years from now, that you can't sell them a digital copy of something.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gonna be nice. Like, look at this game. I didn't even open it. I beat them all. I just keep it in the plastic. Like it's like art. It's kind of like like a collection type thing. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm gonna grab one for sure.
Well, on that topic, he goes on to say, "I've got a PlayStation Plus subscription. Lucky you." And I'm glad I'm glad I have. When my original PS3 died just before Christmas, I would have lost all my saved games without it. One of the benefits of PS Plus is the free games that come with it, for as long as you pay your subscription anyway. I've hardly ever played any of them, even though I've downloaded them all. Whenever I come to play a game, I mostly go to my disc collection to make a choice, sometimes choosing a downloaded game that I've paid for. Do you think that you have to have paid money in order to value a game, or is it just me?
I think that some people equate the price a game costs at retail with the quality of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
But I definitely have seen some of these downloadable games rival disc games. So for me, I actually love when I get them for cheap. It makes me want to play them even more. Like I bought Sonic Generation 1 yesterday because it was $5 and I played it all night. I would have never played it if it wasn't $5. I don't.
You're just throwing your money at them.
So for me, the price of the game never really mattered to me. I've played a lot of games that I bought like collector's editions and spent like $150 on, and I play the game for a week and don't play it again. And then there's games I've gotten for free I'll play forever. So for me, to answer the question in my point, it doesn't really make a difference to me, but I can see how other people think so.
You know what it is? It's total guilty conscience, man. It's total guilty conscience. I know that if I downloaded something, I don't have to look at it. When I bought something, that case just sits there and it's like, you son of a bitch, you're not playing me at all. You spent $60 on me and you haven't touched me. It's like, I don't know, it's weird, man. It has to be what it is. I mean, I love downloadable stuff. I do, but I think I'm sort of the guy that doesn't play maybe as much digital stuff as a lot of people.
They are easy to forget about.
Very. I mean, I love that case because it's a nagging reminder to me, okay, Walking Dead has started to change my mind because I totally, watched the first couple minutes on YouTube and I was like, yep, I'm driving right to GameStop. I'm buying the $20 code for the season pass and I'm coming back because I ain't putting my credit card in any of those goddamn machines anymore. I'm done. I'm not doing it. But more than that, the sad commentary in this little paragraph here, and I'm right there too. When my original PS3 died, like when I say I'm on my second PlayStation 3, it makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Nice. Good visual.
I mean, it's disgusting. Like, why should we have to be buying multiple consoles, multiple of the same ilk in a generation?
Dude, I had 10 PlayStation 2s. I don't even want to hear it. 10.
I've always had one. I had one.
I sent it back to Sony every couple months. I'd send it back to Sony. Like every 3 months it broke, and they'd fix it for free, and they'd send it back. But 10 times they did that for me.
Well, here's the other thing. Maybe when I was younger, I always fixed it. Like my PS1,
it was easy to
I had
fix.
like a clip in it and a spring and shit,
That's
and
all
I'd set it on its side. It's the only way it would read anything. I took my PS2 apart and changed the angle of the DVD drive a couple of times to get it to read. It wouldn't read through the dual layer. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. But I've always had just one console until this generation, man. I had the Sloth box, but I don't really count that because I pieced it together. And then, bought an actual Xbox 360 arcade. And then I thought I did the right thing by waiting a year and buying the software back compat Metal Gear Solid PS3. And, well, now Jeremy's enjoying it, and he's taking it apart once a month or something.
See, that's the thing that pisses me off, is I didn't get the same thing back that I lost.
Exactly.
My old PS3 played every game. Now it doesn't play anything. It only plays PS1 games, which who wants to do that on a regular basis?
I do.
So I'm like, that's the only thing. Like my Xbox, the same thing. It broke. I get the same thing back. I'm not missing any feature. Yeah. But now that broke, I don't have plenty of features that I had. I had 4 USB slots or 6 USB slots on that thing.
Yeah. 4, I think.
That first PS3 and backwards compat for everything.
Yeah, 4.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I actually downloaded I think it's PCX or SX2 or whatever it is. It's a PC PS2 emulator.
Yeah.
And I got this hankering lately to play Lord of the Rings, The Third Age.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get that son of a bitch to run right for nothing. All the games I want to play on that emulator don't run.
That sucks.
So I'm going to have to either try to get my PS2 back from my brother-in-law or go buy just a cheapy slim somewhere.
That's what I keep thinking. I'm just going to have to buy another one.
Yeah.
Because there's too many PS2 games, and they don't look as bad as PS1 games. You can still go back and play them and enjoy them. It's not like playing... most of those games look better than Wii games.
Yeah. They're all close,
Finally, E3. You didn't cover the third-party press conferences in the last show, though you may be doing so in this show. Well, we're not. But I wanted to ask if anyone else was as pleased as I was to see Criterion's new game getting its first public showing. An open-world race with things like fences, billboards, and big jumps. Looks familiar, and that's fine by me. It may be called Need for Speed Most Wanted, but it's looking like it may be a spiritual sequel to Burnout Paradise. As I've played that game 4 times to 100% already, I wouldn't mind somewhere new to drive. Now I just have to wait till damned November.
Oh, man. It's awful funny that when I heard that this thing and, started seeing some stuff on it and everything that it was going to be like Burnout Paradise, I just got this sinking feeling in my stomach. I was like, son of a bitch. I was hoping this was going to be a game that I could just pass on and not spend $60 on. Like I wanted it to be Need for Speed The Run. Was what I wanted it to be, so I knew I didn't have to buy it.
But see, the Need for Speed Most Wanted, the thing he's talking about, spiritual successor to Burnout Paradise. Burnout Paradise was a successor to Need for Speed. They took a lot of the ideas from Need for Speed Most Wanted and put it in Burnout with their own kind of, how Criterion does it. So I'm super excited for Need for Speed Most Wanted. It was my favorite Need for Speed ever. Hot Pursuit, I know I said this when Hot Pursuit 2 came out, because those were my 2 favorites ever. Hot Pursuit was amazing. But as an open world racer, Most Wanted was just phenomenal. I just hope they don't overly Criterion it like they did the Need for Speed. And I know they're going to, and that's the only thing that makes me a little nervous, because I don't want it. I don't know. I don't want it to be just Need for Speed Hot Pursuit open world.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of worried it might get to that point. But I mean, I don't give a damn. I'm excited as shit. I can't wait for it.
Oh, it's a Criterion racer. I mean, I think that's really all you need to say.
It's going to be good no matter what. I mean, Need for Speed's the shit. Criterion makes the best racing games. Just stay more a little true to what Need for Speed was, I hope.
Yeah.
How about you, Dan? You excited, Dan?
Nope.
Did you say no?
Wait.
Shut up. You're joking, right?
Oh, well, I'll end up picking it up. But I didn't like Burnout Paradise.
But you liked Most Wanted, didn't you?
For a bit.
For a bit?
Yeah.
That was my first 100% game. Like, what?
Oh, no, I'm nowhere near 100% on that. It was all right.
No, it was great.
It's no Burnout Revenge.
Mr. F1 over here talking about Need for Speed Most Wanted. What the fuck? What the dude, get the wizard sleeve. Oh, take it off your eyes, dude. You can't see through that shit. It's got you blinded.
I want a new Burnout Revenge. That's what I want.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
But
they need proper Burnout.
Well, Dan, wouldn't you be pissed off if Need for Speed Most Wanted had a fucking crash mode?
Oh.
I never used to play Crash Mode, so I wouldn't care about that.
Oh, Crash Mode was good too.
Man.
It was all about the racing.
Okay, so Yuri, since you didn't get a chance to get in on the E3 discussion last week, I mean, you submitted your letter grades and stuff, but anything third-party press conferences? Any comments?
No, all I really got to see was most of Ubisoft's, and then I watched all of PlayStation's and all of Microsoft's. I was waiting to see Nintendo's. I missed it. You told me that they didn't talk about anything I wanted to see anyway, so I didn't watch it.
No, they didn't.
I was like, well, that's all I wanted to see was like specs for the Wii U and what it was going to do and how it would work, and they didn't tell it. So
nope.
How much it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I really wanted to know.
I
had a dream about it last night that it was only $2.99 and I got a used version for $2.50 at the GameStop. And it was great, and I was like really pissed, like, but I wanted a new one. I'm like, it just came out last week. He's like, all I got is used. I was like, wow, I'll take it anyway.
You got used already? Shit.
Yeah, that's what I was like. There were no games for it though. I was really it's a weird dream, man. Weird dream.
Well, I had a talk, a nice phone call to Mr. Dave Frisch, McLovin, yesterday. We were talking about that a little bit, and I honestly think that Nintendo wants it at $2.99, but I think they know they can't, because as soon as they announce it at $2.99, Sony and Microsoft price drop their machines to $2.49. So I honestly think it's going to come out at $2.69, and they're going to say, well, you could buy this 7-year-old machine for $249, or you can get a machine that comes out this year for $30 more.
I really don't think it's going to be that cheap. It's got to be more than $300.
I don't know.
$350 at least.
I mean, can they?
The Wii came out at $300. You can't come out 6-7 years later with the same price.
I'm telling you, man, can they afford to have another overpriced pricing debacle like they did with the 3DS? They can't.
I mean, yeah, they can. The 3DS sold. They're making money on it.
They
and everything
are now.
else is so much more expensive than that. But the thing is, it's a full console. It's not a handheld. Their handhelds were always cheap. They were never that expensive.
If they do that again, they become Nintendo, the company who is not like the leader in video games or the Japanese giant. They become Nintendo, the company who can't do fucking market research.
Dude, how much do you think the PS4 and the new Xbox are going to be?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I'm thinking
they're not going to be cheaper than $4.99. They're going to be less than $500.
I don't know.
I'd say $4.99 straight up. Like that's the price.
I don't think they can go a stroke above $3.99. I really don't think so.
It's definitely be one of the
I think that's why it's taken so long.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so. I really, really hope so. I don't think they're gonna come out for $600 like PlayStation did, but at least like maybe like a $439, like in between, above $420, in between $420 and $5, like $449.
And they tell you again, that's okay. If you really want one of these, you'll get a second job. Yeah. I mean, who the fuck says that? Who says that?
Oh shit! You know what? Back to the E3 stuff real quick. I was kind of amazed at how Tomb Raider looked.
Yeah.
I know Watch Dogs was amazing. Dishonored, I've been watching like every video they come out with. I think that just looks incredible. Looks like, for some reason, how I wanted Deus Ex to be. I don't know why I compare them in my head, but I do. But Tomb Raider, the actual the showing of the game and the gameplay, I'm like, that game looks amazing. Looks amazing. I'm a Tomb Raider fan already, but I'm thinking like you have a whole nother year to make this. Like, this better be the best game I've ever played. Well, if it looks that good now, like, I don't know what they could be doing to it to make it any better.
I think the problem is that, and I think this is sort of what my problem is with it, is it seems like the progression from her, and I know we've only seen like a really thin vertical slice, right? But the progression from her going from helpless to like stabbing someone in the throat with a fucking arrow is like 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, have you ever been stuck somewhere where you're about to die? Like, that shit kicks in pretty quick, dude. It's either die or fucking stab him in the neck.
I get that. I don't
you know what I mean? You're going to fucking, like, your adrenaline's going to kick in. You're going to stab somebody real fast.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, maybe she just, I don't know. I'm not, what, they got to turn gamey sometime. She can't run around just thinking about it all day.
I'll tell you what,
I don't
man.
see no emotions.
Star Wars 1313.
What is that?
Oh, God, does it look good? It's like Star Wars Uncharted. But it looks next gen, like man, wow. It looked good. And then Watch Dogs, you know. Watch
Dogs looked amazing. Wow. But what about Last of Us?
Yeah, that's gonna be great. That's definitely gonna be great.
Set in Pittsburgh? I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know if the whole thing's gonna be in Pittsburgh, but the parts that they're showing now, I don't know if it's. I guess maybe their journey starts there or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really, really, really excited about that. But yeah, man. Ubisoft had a great press conference.
Crisis 3?
EA looked pretty good, man. EA,
what did EA put out?
That was, they had what, Crisis? Crisis was there.
Crisis looked amazing.
You know what?
Amazing.
And I said this last week, or last show, Star Wars The Old Republic free to level 15, man. That fucking game's in trouble. Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be another 6 months. It'll be free to play completely. It's kind of sad, but, and maybe not all that sad. But,
what other third party? There was Ubisoft. There was EA.
I think there was a Konami one, but I had no idea. I didn't see that. Didn't even hear anything from it. But
it pretty much seemed like it was like the big three and then like the big two. Like, did Activision have one?
I didn't tell you, man. That 3DS event on what was it, Wednesday night was fucking comedy gold. It was great.
I didn't see it.
Oh, it was so good. Scott Moffat comes out, and he can't talk. He's tripping over his tongue. He calls Luigi Marlio's little brother, and dude, it was so good. He brought out the stupid action figure, non-specific action figure or whatever his name was. Which, by the way, they gotta put in the next Smash Brothers. They gotta put non-specific action figure in there. It'd be fucking great. He was so nervous, and Reggie sat in the front row and heckled him from the front row. It was awesome. Oh, it was so good. Oh,
that's messed up.
Oh, man. Scott Moffat is my new favorite gaming anti-personality. I love him. He's awesome. So, I don't know. Those were my big takeaways from E3. That's about it.
Yeah, well, he says, still loving the show, guys. I look forward to it every time. Keep it up. Bye for now. Cheers. Thanks for that. We need to get more.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Kozigan.
Now write one for the next show. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah, his emails are very meaty. I like that. Shout-outs. Yuri.
Shout out to the world, Craig.
Can I borrow y'all's microwave right quick? That's it?
That's it.
That's Hardly Daniel.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Leroy. I haven't spoken to him for ages. It was good to have a chat with him earlier. We failed at playing some StarCraft, but it was good. And the mighty Dave, he deserves a hello as well. I think that's about it. What about you, Steve?
For me, I got one, well, actually, a couple, but one super huge shout out to my wife. We've been playing a lot of the original Lego Batman. I picked it up for $10 about a year ago on the Wii, and just never played it. And it was kind of funny because I downloaded a couple of demos on the 3DS. One was terrible, one was great. Lego Batman 2 and The Amazing Spider-Man. I'll let you figure out which was which. God, that Spider-Man demo was fucking terrible. So, I played through the Lego Batman 2 demo, and I said, you know what? I'm going to kind of hand her the DS and see the 3DS and see if she'll, kind of take to it, right? She played through the whole demo. I was completely shocked.
In 3D?
Yeah, no, she turned the 3D off. She has no use for that. Well, Vertigo.
Girls don't like that 3D.
Well, Vertigo. Her Vertigo, shit acts up, man. But she still, I don't think she has any use for it, But she played the whole thing, and, man, she actually finished it all by herself. I was surprised. And, then I said, well, if you like that, why don't we play this, and then we can play Lego Batman 2. And, so far it seemed to work, except that she says that I treat her like a little kid when we play. So, You know, it's when you're used to doing that stuff and you got somebody playing that it isn't, it gets a little frustrating. But
go here, go there. What the fuck?
So
press the A button.
Here's a little.
Oh, did you die again? What the fuck?
Here's a little pro tip: be patient. Okay, be patient. Yeah. So other than that, VGHub.net, ton of great gaming content at VGHub.net. Web for the week to come, Mr. Xcalybr713.
Exactly like it sounded. Xcalybr713 on Twitter. Same on Xbox, but there's a space in between the X and the R. And
X and the
hit
R?
me up on my
Wait.
Between the X and the C, there's a space. And between the R and the 7, there's a space. X space CALYBR space 713. Right. I get lazy sometimes, man. I'm just saying.
You know, there's a space between the X and
you can
something shiny.
Shut the fuck. And then I'm on PlayStation Network also. These nuts in your mouth. DEEZNUTZNYOMOUF. Check me out. I'll play something with you that is online.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
Maybe.
Killzone 3.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's all I got.
Hardlydan.
Yeah, you can put Hardlydan into just about everything and I come up. But if you want to play a game, it's going to have to be on the PC at the moment because I still haven't given Microsoft more money. And I probably won't for quite a few months. Got too much to spend on. How about you, Steve?
I am JSSLIFELIKE pretty much everywhere. That's PSN, that's Xbox Live, that's Steam, that's Skype, that's Twitter, a bunch of places if you want to find me, like Dan, type that in. If you don't find me, I'm not there. One place that I'm not that is whatever the hell my numbers are for my Wii code. There's a part of me that wants to kind of do a Mario Kart Wii game night. Like I want to play that and stream it online and do some Skype interaction and stuff. I've been itching to play some Mario Kart lately, so I don't know. If there's anybody out there that wants to, you know how you can get a hold of me. All right, Dan, take us home, buddy.
Okay, well, if you want to get more from us, you can find us on Facebook. Loads of stories and things linked there. We're also on Stitcher, so check that out. Again, say each episode, if you've got some spare cash, we'd really love you to sponsor one of us over at extralife.org/team/VGHub Team 2012. We're doing it again this year. We've got some donators in already. We're doing quite well, but we need more. So keep the money coming in. That'd be great. We also want more voicemails. We haven't had one we had one last show or the show before?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, and you can call the RPG hotline at 412-267-RPG1. If you live outside the US, don't call that. It'll cost you a fortune.
Or you could use Skype if you want to pre-purchase some, put some money on Skype. Yeah. That's probably a good way to do it too.
Yeah, and you can also email us at thegamesmanrpg@gmail.com, and our Twitter account is at thegamesmanrpg. You can also listen to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thegamesmanrpg.
There's been a ton of stuff going up there. Lately.
Yeah, the tag-alongs have been really good. I've enjoyed them.
Yeah, I got 2 late game leveling Xenoblade guide videos close to ready to go up. I just need to narrate them, lay that vocal track down and sort of adjust some levels and put them up. I had a lot of fun going through and kind of finding places to power level. So awesome sauce, man.
And please, if you do like the show, give us an iTunes review. We'll even read it out.
Especially if you're in the U.S. We got another one from the UK this week, and it's from Axeman Phil, and he says, funny and informative RPG podcast. He rates us 5 stars, and he says, I discovered this podcast earlier in the year via VGHub.net, and I can't believe I didn't check it out sooner. For a gamer with a fondness for RPGs and story-based gaming such as myself, it really is a great listen. There are several semi-regular contributors, all of whom add their own flavor to the show, but it's all held together brilliantly by host JSS Lyfeliek and the ever-present Hardlydan.
Ever-present.
How about that? Is that better than old reliable? So is that what you're going to be now, ever-present?
Yeah, that's better.
The omnipotent Hardlydan. I have to give particular praise to the special spoiler cast they do every so often, most recently Final Fantasy XIII and Bastion. Lots of laughs, too, especially if you enjoy toilet humor. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and kudos to Hardlydan for saying hello to Jason Isaacs in this week's show. There you go, Dan.
Cool.
That was a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Axeman Phil. Awesome. I guess that's going to do it, guys. Thank you very much. I had a good time.
Cool.
Nice for you to get back on the grid, Mr. Xcalybr.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Oh, man, it felt good to talk with you guys again and shit and all this and that. And yeah. All right.
I definitely did. Just the Tip is a really fun game, though. It's hard to stop playing. I'm really into that at the moment. So.
We gotta go. All right. So on behalf of Xcalybr, on behalf of Hardlydan, I am Lyfeliek. We are the Gamesmen, and until episode 78, we ask,
what role will you play? I'm on Facebook. She puts this song up on Facebook. It's called I Do It for the Ratchets. And I'm like, by Tyga. It's a song called I Do It for the Ratchets by Tyga. And I'm sitting there like, the one day she called me a ratchet. I'm like, dude, bitch, are you running out of like names to call people? Like now you call me like shed tolls, you know? And she was like, no, you don't know what a ratchet is? I was like, I thought it was like, you know, I looked up the definition of ratchet on Webster. I sent her that. I'm like, it's this. And she's like, no. She's like, you need to get on Urban Dictionary. I was like, oh, okay. So she puts this fucking shit on her Facebook, right? And it says, the definition of a ratchet. A madam of the nastiest ghetto species, dressed in an ensemble of cheetah print leggings and a leotard. Not to mention the song 4 sizes too small beneath these items. On top of her head is generally perched a purple weave, often resembling shredded plastic. A lady of this sort may be caught sipping a beverage called Baby Drank, or Four Loko mixed with roofies, aka Baby Drank.
What the fuck?
Ratchets are most commonly known for their slurring of words due to the Baby Drank. Most ratchets are commonly found dancing sloppily on poles, most commonly knocking them over due to their immense weight. A ratchet is also commonly found on the arm of a big black man smoking a cheap cigar. That's the definition of a fucking ratchet, right?
What the fuck?
So everybody comes out of the woodwork, comment on it, and her dad gets on and says, most likely to have wizard sleeves was omitted. And hold on. So I'm thinking I'm like, wow, that's funny. What the fuck's a wizard sleeve? I was like, I'm just picturing like she got on like a wizard's garment also on top of all this weird shit, right? And she's like, no, that's not a wizard sleeve. A wizard sleeve is when the inside lip of the pussy hangs lower than the outside lip of the pussy. And that's a wizard sleeve. And so then she told me that, I was like, and so I was like, okay, Sleevey Wonder. And then and so I did. She's like, also commonly referred to as beef curtains. I was like, yeah. So my whole week has just filled with ratchets and wizard sleeves and like crazy other shit. It's just fucking nuts. Wizard and I was just like, I've never heard of any of these words, and now they're like common practice in my daily language. It's insane.
I don't know about wizard sleeve. It sounds like that shit got an overbite or some shit.
That's exactly what
If not fully satisfied with this podcast, please return any portions for a full refund.
My lady left her wizard sleeve laying on the ground. I fucking tripped over that shit.